Why is it so hard to say no to people? Someone asks you something really simple. Do you want to go out tonight? Or do you fancy doing this? And even if you've got 100 other things going on, even if you're tired, even if you just don't want to, it feels almost impossible to say no. Instead, you say yes. You rearrange your plans, you stress yourself out, all just to avoid that one word. No. And the weird thing is, if someone said no to you, you probably wouldn't think twice about it. You wouldn't sit there overanalyzing it or take it personally. You'd probably just say, yeah, no worries, and move on. So why does it feel so different when it's you saying it? I had this recently. A friend of mine messaged me asking if I wanted to go out for a pint. And normally I would have said yes straight away. But that day in particular, I was exhausted. I'd had a really long day at work and it was a bit of a rough one. I got home, I had a shower, and the last thing I wanted to do was go back out again. And I just sat there staring at my phone, typing something out, deleting it, typing it again, trying to find a way to say no without actually saying no, coming up with a reason for it rather than just saying no. Because in my head, I'm thinking, what if he thinks I'm being off? What if he's annoyed? What if I've just made this awkward for no reason at all? I sat there overthinking it, more than I needed to. In the end, I just said, mate, I'm really sorry. I can't tonight. I'm just shattered. Catch up soon. I sent it, and then I sat there waiting, looking at the screen, delivered, then opened. Then the reply comes through. Yeah, no worries, mate. Catch you soon. And that was it. All that stress, all that overthinking for absolutely nothing. We put so much weight on the word no, so many potential consequences, but when someone says it to us, we don't carry that same weight at all. And I think a big part of that is a lot of us, we don't want to let people down. We don't want to disappoint anybody, even in really small situations. And it's not just that you feel like you're letting people down. It's that you feel like you're doing something wrong just by choosing yourself for once. I've done it with really small things as well. Agreeing to plans I didn't enjoy, just because it felt easier to say yes. And then sitting there thinking, why did I even agree to this? I don't want to be here. And I've seen it with people close to me too. Even something simple like choosing where you can eat can be really stressful. Because if they say that you want to go somewhere, it feels like you're being selfish, like you're letting everybody else down. So instead, they just go along with it over and over again, not because they want to, but because it just feels easier. And the trouble is then, over time, you stop even asking yourself what you want. Your default is to just go with what everybody else wants. And here's the issue with that. It doesn't just stay in those small situations. That learned habit starts to show up in bigger things too, whether that's relationships, friendships, or even work. You can end up in situations where you're not happy, where something doesn't feel right, but you stay. Because somehow saying no feels worse than putting up with it. Because leaving or pushing back or setting a boundary feels like it makes you the bad person. But the truth is, saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're being honest with yourself and other people. And most people are just focused on their own lives. They're not even analysing you as much as you think they are. And that's where boundaries come in. Because boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're not about being difficult or selfish or cold, even though it does feel like that's exactly what you're doing when you first start setting them. They're simply about saying, this is what's right for me. And that doesn't make you selfish. It means you have self-respect. And the thing is, it doesn't have to start with big dramatic changes in your life. It can be really small. Saying no once, when you'd normally say yes. Being honest one time, when you'd normally just go along with it. And slowly, you start to realise something. By saying no, by setting those boundaries, the world doesn't fall apart. People don't suddenly turn on you. Most of the time, they just say, yeah, no worries, and carry on. Because the expectations we build in our head are usually way bigger than the reality. And the more you do it, the more you realise you're allowed to choose what's right for you. You're allowed to say no, and you're allowed to have your own boundaries. Because at the end of the day, if you're always saying yes to everyone else, but no to yourself, something's really not right. And if you keep ignoring that feeling, it doesn't just go away, it'll build up over time. So the next time you're about to say yes, just take a moment and pause. Ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? Or am I just afraid to say no? And if this resonates with you, I'd be interested to know, what's something you've had to learn to say no to? Or maybe it's something you're trying to learn now. And if you like this kind of thing, well, you're in the right place.